It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazaway. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Wednesday show, November 8th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com. If you're watching live or the Fox local app, we appreciate you. Say hello. And, of course, YouTube, 55,000 subscribers now on this platform. We cannot thank you enough for your viewership and your contributions here to the team. We love everybody that watches on YouTube. Hit the like button as well. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon to you, Ryan Ermanni. A little gloomy outside. Actually been gloomy the last 2 days. A bit interesting, but I guess we are in November and it is fall. Other than that, just good sleep lately. I've been sleeping really good lately. Got a new comforter, so.
It's the darkness. It's the early darkness.
I have no windows in my room, so it's always dark in there. But yeah, feeling good. Ready to get going. Tom Mazaway, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Bray. Rye. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's hump day. We're almost there. The weekend's coming.
Big show today. Dan Miller going to join us. Top of hour number 2. We'll talk Lions and Chargers. Lots of great things happening with the Detroit Lions. We'll catch you up on that. Larry Lage, the longtime Associated Press writer, one of the great journalists of our time here in the state of Michigan, will join us in about 15 minutes from now. And Bray, we'll start with the University of Michigan. The college football playoff rankings came out last night. No change. Ohio State 1, Georgia 2. U of M is 3 and Florida State 4, but I think it's all of the chatter that's been going on this morning that really just kind of sticks in you, Bray, and conversations on ESPN or Paul Feinbaum or what have you, it's getting out of hand.
It's definitely getting out of hand, whether it's Paul Feinbaum, whether it's Heather Dinich, whether it's Stephen A. Smith yesterday, whether it's whoever at ESPN. They're clearly is the agenda they're pushing. But one of my biggest things with Paul Feinbaum is I was watching the show today, and as you see, these are some comments. Shout out to Louis Riddick first. Let me say this. Louis Riddick must have ties in Michigan because he loves Detroit. He was the first one talking about the Detroit Lions. And also, he is one of the most common sense individuals ever as it relates to the conversation at hand when he was talking today.
Can I just set this up for you
please,
real quick?
Set it up.
This is the same freaking show.
Yep,
okay,
100%.
This is the same show within 1 hour of each other. You've got Louis Riddick going out there saying, guys, this is absolutely nothing. People need to stop being up in arms about this. And then you have Feinbaum saying Jim Harbaugh should never coach another game at Michigan.
Yeah. 100%.
It's incredible.
And also, the biggest problem with me is the due process. And I think people mistake the due process with apathy. That's something that I heard, and I believe it 100%. They mistake the due process of them going through everything, going through all the findings, figuring things out, so that when they do have something to present, when they do have a ruling to make, then it makes sense because they've done all their due diligence. Ryan Ermanni, what if they would have made a ruling last week? What if they would have made a ruling last week, and then this stuff comes out about what Ohio State had, about what Rutgers have, about what they presented to Purdue? Now you're right back at square one. So do you now have to rush to Ohio State to ban them? Do you have to rush to Rutgers to ban them? The funny thing about Paul Feinbaum, he said something very brilliant last year, and I gave him a lot of credit for it. He was talking about how Michigan has turned the tide against the Ohio State, the D my ass. The reason why they've turned the tide, this is according to Paul Feinbaum, this is last year, Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazaway. If you look at 2014, if you look at when Urban Meyer was there, when they won the national championship, those guys were built on defense as well as offense. They had mean defensive lines. They had great running game. They had great offensive line as well, and they also had great defensive backs. Well, as they understood what was the college playoff was going or where it was headed, now they start recruiting guys, and it's more of a finesse school. Like, they don't have, like, when they were dominating Michigan, you can name the defensive linemen that were going there. You can name the offensive line that was going there. When they were dominating Michigan, they had the Bosa brothers. They had Sam Hubbard, who got the Cincinnati Bengal fumble recovery last year against the Ravens in 94 yards. They had Chase Young. Chase Young had 19 sacks in the season. They dominated. They had defensive backs. They had Denzel Ward, who was the highest paid defensive back 2 years ago in Cleveland. They had Marshawn Lattimore. They had a guy that we drafted 3rd overall, and that being Jeff Okudah. That's what they were dealing with when they were really dominant. But then all of a sudden they started to go heavy on the offense. More Chris Olave's, more in Jackson Smith and Jigba's, more on the quarterback side of things. Garrett Wilson is another one. Now you got arguably the best wide receiver we've seen in the modern era at Ohio State now, and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ibuka. They don't have those same defensive linemen. When's the last time they had a D lineman get drafted 1st overall? In the 1st round. When's the last time they had a defensive back that was in that top elite? When's the last time they had that? They haven't had it. When's the last time we heard a linebacker that Ohio State, oh man, they got this linebacker coming? They don't have that anymore because they're a finesse school. This is what Paul Feinbaum said last year, Ryan, and I said, you know what? That's genius. This is the truth. And now today he uses that same conversation. He says, I don't understand. All of a sudden, Michigan is beating Ohio State. They were losing. They got blown out by 50, and now all of a sudden they're winning. Paul Feinbaum, you said that same conversation last year, and you took a different tone. See, things like that are what pisses me off because it's not the same and it's not honest.
And, Tom, I tweeted this out today or posted this on X. Yeah. I truly believe Paul Feinbaum says stuff just to stay relevant.
The radio base.
I don't believe Paul Feinbaum believes that if Michigan goes on to win the national championship, that they will walk around with that stink. They will walk around with that taint of being a cheater. Yeah. Because I would submit to you that now that they play Penn State, Ohio State, and whoever in the college football play, there is no advantage. Whatever happened in the past or whatever didn't happen in the past is in the past. Now we move forward. If Michigan hasn't played anybody anyway, what's the big deal? Now the season starts on Saturday. So I think Feinbaum, and not to compare Feinbaum to Howard Cosell at all, I am not doing that. But I think Feinbaum lives by the Howard Cosell rule. And that's 50% of the people love me, 50% of the people hate me, but 100% of the people are talking about me.
No doubt.
And I think that's exactly what keeps Feinbaum going. And I think Valenti's the same way. I don't think Valenti really believes that Michigan, if they go on to win the national championship, this is tainted or cheat. Yeah. But these guys have been relevant for so long because they are masters of manipulation. They can manipulate their audience into feeling an emotion unlike anything we are able to control. And what was the, I always mention, not to bring politics in, more Democrats listen to Rush Limbaugh than Republicans listen to Rush Limbaugh. And more Michigan fans will listen to Mike Valenti than Michigan State fans, and more Michigan haters will retweet Paul Feinbaum than people that love Paul Feinbaum. It's just the way we are wired as a people.
It's funny.
And it's crazy.
It's funny you bring up that name, the other guy that you brought up. I think he said something yesterday, was it, or it was a couple days ago? He said that, who does Michigan think they are? What type of money does Michigan think they have? Does Michigan think they have more money than the Big Ten and more money than the Big Ten combined outside themselves, more money than the NCAA? Well, if you were smart enough, you know we do. We do. If you look up billionaires, Mr. Valenti, Michigan has the most billionaires of a public institution in the country. Everybody in the top 10 is Ivy League. Michigan has 7. With one of the billionaires that we have, one of them, Larry Page, co-founder of Google, it's $87 billion. I think that's more than everybody. You have Nebraska, Illinois, Northwestern. The list keeps going. We do have more money, and you're about to F around and find out. You're about to F around and find out. And we stick together, because when I got traded to the New York Jets, first person to send me a congratulations, welcome to the state, and a New York Mets jersey.
Wilpon.
Fred Wilpon, billionaire. Just to name a few. Stephen Ross. Do we need to get him involved in this situation? We have the money.
Once this all goes, and Michigan's they're gonna get punished. I don't know when.
One game, Jim Harbaugh, and it'll be a Maryland game.
We'll see. I hope he does sign a contract and stay here. I hope he doesn't leave. I hope he doesn't get pushed out by all these guys that want to push him out. I don't think he will. I think he'll stand up I think he'll survive this. I think Michigan will survive this. And the Big Ten and NCAA will end this. They will now allow electronic play calling and come up to where high schools are, come up to where the NFL is. You might as well start it now, because in the NFL, they're not holding signs up. They're talking to the quarterback. They're talking to the middle linebacker. They're talking to the captains of the team. That's what you do. And then you can never say anything more about this subject, because everyone is on a level playing field. Wetzel hit it on the head. It's white-collar crime. That's what Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue did. And it's smash and grab, whatever you want to call it, if that's what you think Michigan did. It's still the same freaking crime.
Yeah. Well, you know, in another thing, one of the things that Wetzel wrote about today or last night, I don't remember what. There's just so much to consume with this story. I don't know who's writing what and when they're writing it. It feels like I'm just in a heavyweight boxing match.
Thamel came back a little. He retweeted something.
Thamel showed up today out of the blue. But it feels like all this information is like a pinball machine.
Yeah. It is.
And I'm the pinball.
It is.
And I'm going back.
I don't know who's doing what.
And I don't know, is this the Big Ten or is this the NCAA? Is this the investigation? This week he's getting suspended? What about Ohio State and Purdue? One of the things was that Purdue also had advanced scouting. But what they did, I think it was Wetzel who said Michigan and Purdue had the exact same information, gotten different ways, through different methods. And 10 times out of 10, if you got to pick which side of information you would you want it from Connor Stallions and his iPhone or his minion's iPhone, or would you want Ohio State and Rutgers, offensive and defensive coaches, coming together to collude and give Purdue another offensive and defensive coordinator at Purdue Michigan signs? 10 times out of 10, you would pick the way Purdue got that information.
Of course.
And the crazy thing about it is the person and the entity that's supposed to take care of this, the person and the entity whose job it is, Ryan and mine, to take care of this, is the NCAA. But they've been so non-existing. They put themselves in a situation where nobody respects them, nobody cares about them, that they have nothing to say. They can't even rank. So now they want the Big Ten to step in because they can't. What did the NCAA say? Hey, look, we didn't see anything. We didn't see anything. We believe Harbaugh operated within the rules and he didn't know anything. So now they're making it up to the Big Ten. That is not technically the commissioner of the Big Ten's responsibility, is to deal with things as it relates to the football field in season. That's not their job. 100% is not their job.
And I still contend that the sad thing in all of this is how good Michigan's football team is, how good Michigan's football players are. And the fact that we're not talking about J.J. McCarthy and their first true game of the season, their first true test of the season. Yes, of course, it's on us, but it's the big story. What everybody's talking about. It's what's happening off the field. And it's just sad because these guys are having really a historic
one for
year.
The ages.
It is one for the ages, and we'll see where this goes.
I saw some idiot say that if CJ Stroud got penalized and he didn't win the Heisman because of what happened with Urban and what happened down there, then neither is JJ. He didn't win the Heisman because he lost to Michigan State. Michigan twice. What are you talking about?
Exactly. We don't know what they're talking about. Guys, Dan Miller coming up, top of the hour. In about 45 minutes from now, we'll talk Lions and Chargers. Next, we'll talk to Larry Lage, Associated Press, longtime writer for them. We'll get the latest on the saga of the Michigan NCAA investigation. But first, a message from Dispo.
That's right. Now open till midnight. Dispo Romeo, Michigan's largest cannabis mall. 21 and up is how old you have to be. Recreational only, but then they have everything. You walk in, you feel like a kid in a candy store, and they have the best service. The best ways to consume your cannabis, whether it's flower, whether it's oil, whether it's edibles, they got what you need. Come on down, Dispo Romeo, open till midnight.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Hey gang, welcome back to Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, and Tom Mazaway. He's been covering the state of Michigan sports scene for over 2 decades for the Associated Press. The one, the only, Larry Lage. Larry, how you doing, my friend? Thanks so much for the time.
Hey, Larry.
I'm good. Hey, I just want to start with this. A great pillow that my wife has. It's seasonal and it's timeless.
Witches be tripping.
This is absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Oh man, Larry, it just you know, we're trying to make sense of all this. And look, I would be lying if I told you that we didn't come from a place of Michigan supporters here, right?
As we should.
But at the same time, when all this stuff is coming out about Ohio State and Rutgers sharing information with Purdue, it just puts a highlight on how prevalent this is.
Yeah, without a doubt. I talked to a former science dealer at a Big Ten school. It was a big story, I don't know, was that a day or two ago. And he said everyone does this, but he also said he's never heard of anyone doing what Connor Stalions is alleged to have done, which is, traveling to other games, videotaping, games that didn't involve Michigan but future opponents, and paying other people to do it or paying for their expenses. So I think everyone does it. But I don't know that anyone did it quite like Connor Stalions allegedly did it. And the truth with everything is somewhere in the middle.
Hey, Larry, what do we make of Tony Petitti's stance in all of this? Because he really seems to be at the forefront, the Big Ten commissioner. He's getting pressure from all these other Big Ten coaches and athletic directors. But what about his leadership right now? He seems to be listening to everybody. But in your opinion, how do you feel like he is handling this?
So I think the jury's still out. Let's see what he does over the next couple days. I think we'll know a lot more about how he's handling this as this shakes out in real time. I'm expecting Michigan to send their response to the Big Ten later today. I don't think the Big Ten is going to make a quick move tonight. I expect the Big Ten to do something tomorrow. It could be as little as a reprimand, and it could be as much as a suspension. No one knows. So I think we have to let it shake out a little bit in terms of how Tony Petitti is handling this.
Larry, good talk to you. Haven't talked to you in a minute. I appreciate the pillow as well. Definitely a dope pillow for sure. This is true. This is true. Witches definitely do trip. Just looking at the whole situation, let's fast forward a little ahead. You said it could be as little as a slap on the wrist, could be as much as maybe suspending Harbaugh the rest of the season. It seems that Paul Feinbaum and ESPN still believe, though, regardless of what happens with Jim Harbaugh, the students, the kids that really matter, they will still be allowed to contend for the Big Ten championship as well as the national championship and the playoffs. Do we know, is there any way possible that would change between now and, let's say, December 2nd?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on what the punishment is. And how do I sound, by the way? Somebody just texted me and said I sound muffled. I can probably switch it to the speakerphone if that's better.
Sound a little muffled, but I can definitely make out exactly what you're saying.
All right, so thank you. You have a lot of viewers and listeners that are blowing up my phone, including Jim Delaney, who declined comment, by the way. And, you get that. That's a Woodward Sports scoop.
I never thought I'd miss Jim Delaney.
Right, we miss Jim Delaney. Jim, we miss you.
Yeah, literally his text popped up as I was talking with you guys. So, a little scoop for you. If it was a real scoop, I'd probably hang up and go write it first. But tell me the question again. I already lost it.
Basically, the question is there any way that Michigan would be discounted from the Big Ten championship and the playoffs due to the ruling that could come out as soon as in a couple minutes or as soon as tomorrow morning?
I don't think we know that because so far they're saying Michigan's eligible and we're ranking them third. I think it's a good question. I think we have to, again, let it play out. it would be a shame if the players were punished for what someone did. I think anyone would agree that even if Michigan's first 9 opponents had all of Michigan's play calls and knew it was coming, they wouldn't have won any of those games. So if they're talking about a real competitive advantage, that already happened when the schedule was set with 9 straight tune-ups before Michigan finally played a ranked team.
Thank you.
So, we'll see with that.
Larry, another quick question, and I'm done. If you punish Michigan, let's say Michigan Harbaugh, however he gets suspended, he misses the rest of the season, et cetera, but then wouldn't you have to rest in judgment on the information that we received on Ryan Day and Greg Schiano as well? I mean, Greg Schiano's not playing anybody's bowl game, so it wouldn't matter. But wouldn't you have to start looking at Ryan Day and maybe now discount them from the Big Ten Championship and the playoffs this season, considering what they had and what they did, alleged?
Yeah, well, let's see. Again, as I reported the other day, multiple schools colluded with the former sign stealer who I spoke with to help his team scout against Michigan. The Big Ten has not answered my question, which is that against the sportsmanship policy for schools to collude against another for sign stealing? And the Big Ten hasn't answered that question. So we don't know if that is against the policy. Now, if the rumors are true that Ryan Day and his brothers are behind this, that's another matter. But there doesn't seem to be any paper trail or evidence in that. We've seen reports where the NCAA said there's not a tie. So, there's so much smoke and some fire, and this has been an amazing story to be a part of. You guys have known me forever. I've been at AP for 24 years, and in terms of an ongoing saga and story, this is about as big as it gets. And just to give you a little bit of an idea, my first tweet the other day with the story link has 5.4 million impressions. I have 12,000 followers.
Right.
12,000 followers to 5.4 million impressions, and it was the #1 story in the Associated Press that day, doubled what our top story was on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and tripled the third story, which was on Trump.
Wow. And Larry, why do you think? Larry, that's. I'll just follow up with that right there. Why do you think that this story resonates so much, especially because coaches do this all the time? What advantage is, in the Connor Stallions part aside, okay? I mean, if Purdue has Michigan signs for the Big Ten championship, how much more of an advantage is that than Connor Stallion having his minions go like this at a game? The information is the information regardless of how it's obtained. So I guess my question is it because it's Michigan? Is it because Jim Harbaugh rubs people the wrong way? Why is this such a huge story?
Well, I have a problem with your question because I don't think you can take Connor Stallions aside and ask that question, because he is at the center of this whole scandal. And what he allegedly did break the rules. The question is, who knew that he was doing that? And that's what we don't know. To answer your question,
but Larry, did he break the rule or was it a loophole? you know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, there's rules against in-person scouting of opponents and using video to do that on your own. And he apparently did that and had other people doing it in his network. And that is against the rules. That's why you can't ask the question, or at least I'm not going to answer it, taking him aside, because that's a fantasy world, because he is this story. And I think the lengths that he went and what we know about it, and that there are clearly people behind the scenes who want information out there that is going to grab headlines and viewers and listeners. And we have seen a almost daily drip for almost 3 weeks on this story. And, I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. And, I went from Mel Tucker to this, and I also am covering 7 teams that are in season, and I got to get my all-state high school football panel together. So if my head is spinning, let me know.
Hey, Larry, is it considered advanced scouting? Is there a rule in the Big Ten rule book when it comes to advanced scouting? like a section 11.6.1b-45 that says coaches cannot collude to give other teams an advantage either in sign stealing. Is that against the rules?
I asked that question. Yeah, I asked that question to the Big Ten. They did not answer.
So what do you take with no answer? Do you take that as they don't know even?
Because there's, lawyers write these bylaws and guidelines, right? And they're not very clear and direct. And one of the things that might hurt the Big Ten in its potential punishment is, unlike the NCAA, the Big Ten doesn't have policies and frameworks in place that hold a head coach accountable for what happens in their program like the NCAA does. The NCAA could come in and say, Jim Harbaugh, you're guilty of institutional control lack of institutional control because this happened in your program. Not knowing is not an excuse. Here's our punishment. The Big Ten doesn't have that same threshold and power. So that's what makes this so fascinating to see what's Tony Petitti going to do. And I think we might know in the next 24 hours, but I really don't know. Working with Ralph Russo, who's our college football writer, super respected. And, we're teaming up as best we can to give people the facts and the context as best we can, as quickly as we can, as often as we can. And, I'll continue to do so. And I'm thankful that I have my professional integrity and character in place. And it makes me laugh on social media. Maybe you guys have seen it. People are trying to say that I'm in Michigan's pocket because I'm from Ann Arbor. And then people are chiming in. Actually, he was Sparty and graduated from Michigan State. And I point anyone to watch Divided We Stand, a really good documentary on the Michigan State rivalry. And I'm on it for about 5 minutes saying, when Michigan State play, I don't care who wins. In fact, I don't care who wins any game I cover. I really don't. My heart of hearts, the fan has been beaten out of me. Now, if you're talking about my Southern Ann Arbor Pioneer, that's different. And but this is I thrive on this. When my boss tells me this is my top priority, it's going to be my top priority. And both of you know, and probably a lot of other people. I know a lot of people, and a lot of people trust me. And thankfully, a lot of people trust the Associated Press.
Hey, Larry, last one. Can they change the rule? It's 29 years old. How about just putting electronic devices in and doing things like high school and the NFL does?
Yeah, I think that's probably coming. And Jim Harbaugh really has been at the center of a lot of change. And, the transfer without penalty, that's Jim Harbaugh. And, another thing that's Jim Harbaugh that the NCAA may not like is the revenue sharing that he's been advocating for. So, I'm not sure the NCAA loves Jim Harbaugh either.
Larry, great stuff, man. We really appreciate your time. We know you're busy, and maybe there's going to be news today. Maybe there won't be, but we do expect that witches be tripping.
This is true.
Thanks so much. You can follow Larry on Twitter at Larry or on X at Larry Lage. Been working and covering sports in the state of Michigan for 2.5 decades, man, and he's one of the good ones. We appreciate it, Larry. Thank you,
bud.
You got it. So, yeah, Bray, there you have it. We'll see what Michigan responds with later today. Will that be public? Will that not be public? Will there be a penalty today? I can't imagine that the Big Ten levies any sort of response to what Michigan offers them today without looking at it, unless they've already have a preconceived notion and a predetermined kind of ruling for what.
Can I sum this up for you guys?
Do it next. Let me do this. Do it next. Let me get you a break and get to Planet Fitness.
Yes, Planet Fitness is your home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all this just for $10 a month with no commitment.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10. No matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness nearby, so look for your local Planet Fitness today to join, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Go ahead.
estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates is offering. It's called their minute-by-minute listing agreement. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. That number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White and Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Hey gang, when it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. That's why Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years, 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest price available, and curbside delivery to boot. So give your pet the best. Give them Premier Pet Supply, and check them out at premierpetsupply.com. Woof!
Hey gang, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. Tom Mazaway, I cut you off, so I want you
All right,
to,
bro.
you said, let me sum it up for you.
Pretty simple. If you're a Michigan fan and you like the Michigan Wolverines, you're going to say what we say. You're going to say, everybody cheats. Everybody does this. Sign stealing is part of sports. Yes, Connor Stallions did it his way, but Ohio State, Rutgers, and Purdue did it their way. What's the difference there? Not much of a difference. If you want a loophole and you want to really hammer Michigan and say, the rule is you can't hold a phone up, back in 1994 when they changed the rule, there were no phones. So here we are in this year, 2023, and if all these teams had known that Michigan was stealing their signs, they would have changed them and maybe even competed a little bit better. If you hate Michigan, they're a bunch of cheaters and they're crooks. And you're probably a Michigan State fan.
You know, it's so funny. And look, social media is what it is, Bray.
Yeah.
I understand that. I fully get it. But if I just a random thing of my Twitter or X, just looking at the people's responses, have all like Spartans in their name, MSU or Spartan
100%. Green and white.
This is the biggest thing for them when they want 3 games.
Zabrowka Spartan, Spartan Zub, Spartan Girl, MSU Dennis, Sparty Vector, Delusional. Yeah, I mean, these are all people with MSU or Spartan in their not avatar, but in their handle.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know what it is. We absolutely know what it is. Everybody wants to pile on. This is happening in Ann Arbor. Oh, my God, we couldn't wait for something to happen up there. Let's pour it on, and let's help the process along. At the end of the day, it's no longer nothing burger. It is just simply everyone does it. Everyone does it. Now what happens? Ultimately, look, and Larry Lage said exactly what I was going to say, and I kind of alluded to is it's the NCAA's job to pass ruling, to pass judgment, to swing the axe, to pass the sentence. It's their job. And what did they do? They tucked their heads between their legs and they ran back to wherever the hell NCAA offices are. And they left it to the Big Ten, which is in Chicago. Like they left it to them to say, hey, it's up to you, Tony Petit, to make a decision. We know this isn't in your wheelhouse, but this is up to you to make a decision. Oh, by the way, in your first year, during the season, while Michigan's your #1 brand and probably going on to another number 1 seed playing in the playoffs. So what does Tony Petitti do? Jim Harbaugh, you might get one game, and we might get to choose that game, and it's going to be Maryland at the most.
And just, with the college football playoff rankings that came out last night, I am really rooting for this 5-conference extravaganza here. I mean, what do you do if Michigan is unbeaten out of the Big Ten? If Georgia is unbeaten out of the SEC? If Florida State is unbeaten out of the ACC? If Washington is unbeaten out of the Pac-12, and then you have Texas, one-loss Texas out of the Big 12. I mean, would they really let Texas be out of this with a one-loss Texas team in the Big 12?
Don't forget
champion?
Alabama.
The college football playoffs is clearly like, Alabama still has a chance to win it all. They could beat Georgia. And they beat Georgia. They have one loss, and they're not leaving Nick Saban off with his complaining ass. I'm going to tell you like this. They're letting you know who they want in there. They want Florida State in there because Washington clearly has the best win of anybody up there. Washington,
it's Oregon,
beat Oregon,
beat their ass,
and it was at home. So maybe you could say it was a home game. Blah blah blah. Oregon to me is a better team. I keep telling you that. That's how I feel. I think they're better.
I think they're really damn good too.
They're a full team. They're a complete team. They lost to Washington. Meanwhile, Washington's sitting behind Florida State, whose best win is LSU,
and LSU
is now 19th in the country.
Does not look that great. The Ohio State win over Notre Dame does not look that great. I mean, these are we've played 9 games, and you're talking about the best win for each of those 2 programs being a 3-loss team, 3 losses out of 9 games.
So I mean,
that's your best win.
They don't want Florida State in there. Excuse me. They don't want Washington in there. They really don't want the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has never ever garnered the respect during the college football playoffs or even the national title unless they were undefeated. Like with Marcus Mariota, they don't want Pac-12 schools in there. They've been in there twice. You got Oregon and Marcus Mariota, and you got Jake Browning and Washington, and they definitely didn't want them in.
I think Washington could beat Ohio State right now.
I think Washington might be the best team in the country, to be honest with you. I mean, they might be, and I'll tell you this much. I think this is the year where the college football playoff would want a Pac-12 champion in there because you could go Big Ten champ, Pac-10 champ, or Pac-12 champ.
You took it back with the Pac-10.
In the Rose Bowl in the college football playoff, because the Rose Bowl is a college football playoff game this year, and in the final year between the Big Ten and the Pac-12,
it's a great story.
To play those 2 in the Rose Bowl, I think would be tremendous.
Who's Florida State have left? Do you guys know offhand?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now because I got it up right here. They play.
I'd like to see them fall.
They play
Miami, Clemson,
home against Miami,
Duke.
then North Alabama,
Congrats,
and then at Florida, and then the ACC championship game, which if it ended today, they would play
Duke
Louisville.
Or Clemson. Oh, Louisville, that's right.
They got some chances to lose.
Louisville's 8-1, number 11 in the country. So
they demolished Notre Dame.
Anytime anytime you play your rival on the road too, I mean, Florida will. Florida might give them a game in that.
I want to see Penix get in there.
I mean, he's 25, and we were talking about this quickly. I know we're about to switch gears. How are you with the older quarterback? Like with Bo Nix and Penix, they're older. Like you don't like that they're older as it relates to drafting them, correct?
Well, I would not draft them. Or I would not draft a 25-year-old quarterback with the first overall pick.
Okay, can I ask you just add on to that? That is the one position that you want maturity. Like that's like the one position where you look at the guys who won the Super Bowl, all of them are 4-year college players or at least 3-year. Wouldn't you be okay with a guy coming in that's elite or already mature and already kind of understanding how to see offenses, see defenses, and kind of look through things at 25? I mean, wouldn't that be an advantage?
Yes.
Yeah.
But chances are they're 24, 25 years old because of an injury.
Right.
Good.
And COVID. And it's no different from Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker's an older quarterback. Where would he have gone if he didn't get injured? I think that is up for debate. Would he have been the number 1 overall pick? Would he have been 10? Would he have fallen out of the first round altogether? This is such a new thing.
Yeah.
Because they get the extra COVID year and they get the transfer year.
Yeah.
So that's why you have all of these older quarterbacks now. Stetson Bennett was no different. He was a 24-year-old quarterback who got drafted, in the 3rd or 4th round? I think Stetson Bennett was.
To the rounds.
5th round, whatever. He's since walked away from the game for a little bit. But nonetheless, I just don't know how that translates to the NFL.
Gotcha.
I don't see James Madison in there either.
Yeah.
They're 9-0. They're
They're
petitioning the
petitioning.
NCAA to give him a break.
See,
Let them have a chance.
What was that? Who did this? Was it Central Florida? Went undefeated and then put their own billboard up and said national champs.
Yeah.
13-0. I think they'd be Auburn. So.
I
won their bowl game.
I am rooting for chaos, though. I am rooting for chaos in the final year. And I'll tell you this much: I don't know if there was if Washington, Georgia, Florida State, and then Texas won the ACC or the Big 12. Maybe they do leave Michigan out. Maybe they do. Maybe that is their punishment.
Do you see the one jackass that wants to leave J.J. McCarthy out?
Yeah, that's that Indy Star guy.
Yes. Greg Doyle.
He's such an activist.
He is such an activist.
He's not a sports writer.
No.
He's an activist.
And he has a vote, doesn't he?
Yes, but there are people out there that would probably do the same thing that he's doing.
You know what? He should lose his vote.
Yes, he should.
He should lose his vote. And I thought Greg Doyle, is that his name?
Yes.
Greg Doyle, you should lose your vote.
Yeah.
He should absolutely lose his vote. If J.J. McCarthy is eligible for the Heisman Trophy and Greg Doyle doesn't vote for him because of something he believes his accomplishments on the field don't merit a Heisman Trophy, great. But if he's got a preconceived notion that he shouldn't because of X, Y, and Z, you should lose your vote.
He already put it out there.
Just like the guy last night, because Reese Davis, my buddy Reese Davis, who I've lost so much respect for.
And I love Reese Davis.
I used to love Reese Davis. I have lost so much respect for Reese Davis, it's not even funny. But he asked the college football playoff president last night, what about Michigan? What about these allegations against Michigan? What about Michigan? And he said, our job as a committee is to evaluate the teams that are eligible for the postseason. That's what we're doing.
Okay.
And until or unless they are not eligible for a postseason, we will consider that.
I can't wait till the playoff when no one has to vote. Just the 12 best teams get in. I know there's still a vote. You got to put them in the top 25. But the 12 best teams, there's no BCS, and there's no this guy that Reese Davis talked to. What right do they have to make a judgment? We have just as much right as them.
I tell you like this. This is just from a player observational standpoint as it relates to J.J. McCarthy potentially winning the Heisman or losing the Heisman. I have watched J.J. McCarthy every snap this season, like most people in this room, like a lot of people listening to us right now. Every play, Ryan and Mike, I've seen the good ones, I've seen the bad ones. From what I've seen, there is no way in the hell J.J. McCarthy has benefited from any type of whatever you want to say, because I've seen more than enough bad plays that if he had benefited, if he knew something was going on, wouldn't have made these bad plays, would have had these runs slated. It would look a lot different if J.J. McCarthy was benefiting from any inside information. He is clearly just playing a game. He's literally just playing a reactionary game to what he sees on Saturday.
Did you see what he posted on Instagram
about the refs?
So there was a graphic from college football on Fox about the least penalized team.
Right.
In the
only
in college
24.
football. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Parker.
Look at Parker.
Fewest penalties this season, Michigan 24. J.J. McCarthy commented on that and said, "Oh, what are you going to say, that we pay the refs now?"
Yeah.
I love it though when you dive in and you eat exactly what's going on. Just dive in to the controversy.
Look, Iowa with 31. That's almost as many points as they've scored.
Right. They might have scored. They might have scored less.
Yeah.
To be quiet is to be guilty. To troll and to like that's Anyway, I'm done. I digress.
Absolutely. Guys, want to get to a little Lions stuff from today. Dan Campbell spoke with the media earlier today, and there is going to be one change along the offensive line. We'll play that for you coming up. But first, a message from the Hamlin Pub.
Have you ever wanted to go to a bar where you are a regular? We have just the place for you. Head to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations. Yes, 7 locations throughout the Metro Detroit area. As you can go there just to enjoy half-off pizza on Thursdays or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games. Hamlin Pub is the place. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports. Hamlin Pub, it's the place for you to feel like a regular.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. You can drink it. You could also live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy your Cintron from your local Meijer. Cintron is the healthier energy drink with greater taste. You can look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. Go to drinkcintron.com/Vegas for that $100,000 Vegas getaway.
They're playing pretty good football, particularly these last 2 games. You know, defensively they're playing pretty good. So we know it's going to be a challenge, and we're going to have to be efficient, stay ahead of the sticks, and you know, it's really a dangerous team in that regard on offense and defense. You know, so, you know, we can't play their game.
That was Dan Campbell, courtesy of Detroit Lions YouTube, the press conference from earlier today, talking about those Los Angeles Chargers. They're a good football team, 4-4, second in the AFC West. Lions going out there this week after a bye, and they do so healthy. But they're going to do so as well, Braylon Edwards, with Graham Glasgow as their starting right guard. This is the guy that was signed in the offseason. Jonah Jackson is back healthy. Frank Ragnow is back healthy. Both will start. So you'll have Ragnow at center, Jonah Jackson at left guard, Graham Glasgow in at right guard. He'll be the starter there. Hal Vaitai started the year, then got injured, and he's just been battling back. And for Graham Glasgow, what a signing this guy was in the offseason, Braylon. He has played 3 different positions over the last 3 weeks along the offensive line, and now he'll settle in at right guard.
Damn glad to have Graham Glasgow back, University of Michigan. Also, I'm surprised that Sean Payton let him get out of Denver coming here, because, you know, he rebuilt that line and wanted to slow things down for Russell, but just getting back to him. He's been a godsend. He's played 3 positions. I've seen him play center. I've seen him play tackle. He's going to start at guard this week. But it just goes well for what we talked about, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, with having the depth that you need to go into extend the season, extend the runs. Once you get into November, once you get into December, January is coming. You talked about Ryan Ermanni getting guys healthy. They want to get Vaitai healthy. That's their best right guard. But Graham Glasgow is a damn good player, and he's giving them that type of ability to be able to run the ball, to be able to back where they were when they were leading early on in the year, when they were playing at their best. He's going to allow them to continue to do so. So excited to see that, and it's a good Chargers team. I mean, they got players, but they're not a team. They got really good players. They're not a team, and that's why the big thing is I'm not worried about the Chargers. Yeah. They're a team full of – they got some Pro Bowl players on there, but as a team, they're not playing well. And Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, they dominated that Jets O-line. That Jets O-line couldn't block Yumi, Maz, Parker, and JB.
Back to Glasgow for a second, though. I mean, this is a guy that really played himself into the starting lineup. Here's Dan Campbell earlier today when asked whether Glasgow was going to stay in the starting lineup or not.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. We're always assessing Big V, and V's still working at it, but Graham's, certainly Graham has been productive for us, and he's been productive in 3 different spots. I mean, left guard, center, and then certainly right guard before that. So he's been a big asset for us. I mean, he that was a good signing for us to get, and fortunate to have him. So he's a steady, reliable piece for us.
That's about as close as you're going to get Dan Campbell to coming and saying, yo, he's been a stud. Like, right. Yeah, you're damn right he's starting. You're damn right we feel comfortable about him. You're damn right that he's going to continue to play for us. Like, you want to keep it light. You don't want to say too much. You don't want to overtell your hand, which is Dan Campbell's gotten really good at that. But he's really appreciative that you got a guy in Graham Glasgow. And what he's basically telling you is we can let Vitae get healthy. And, oh, by the way, Ryan Ermanni, if he doesn't get healthy, we feel very confident in what Graham Glasgow provides us, and we will be okay moving forward if that were to happen permanently. That's what that was. That's what that cryptic laugh was. He's really comfortable with Graham Glasgow and where we are.
Hell yeah, man. This is a line last year that was great, and they lose Matt Nelson. Matt Nelson was a guy they wanted to sign, but he wanted X amount of dollars. Seattle gives it to him, and Graham Glasgow comes in here almost on the cheap, and it really helped. It really helps. Next year, they got to make a decision. Jonah Jackson, what are they going to do with him?
I think they got to re-sign him.
I do too. But they got Colby Sorsdahl, who they get out of William & Mary. They're making the right moves, man. And let's face it, they're not keeping the guy that costs too much. That's the way this team operates. You can see it. If you're making too much money, you're probably not going to be here. That's the way Brad Holmes is running this team. But this year, everything is set up for them to really make a deep run.
Well, even to the point where you have your bye in the middle of the season, and then look at all the guys that you're getting back. And if the offensive line notwithstanding, we mentioned this yesterday, I think this is a really important point to make. For the first time this season, you've got Montgomery, Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Jamison, Laporta, all on the field at the same time. I am so jacked to see what that offense looks like. Braylon, the Lions offense ranks second in the NFL at 390.6 yards per game. That is second only behind the Miami Dolphins. And that is second dealing with all of these injuries along the offensive line, all of these injuries and suspensions due to the skill players. Jamison out a month. Montgomery missed a couple of games. Gibbs missed a couple of games. And now, to make this run at a number 1 seed. Hell, forget about the number 1 seed. To make this run towards your first ever NFC North championship, you're going to need these guys. You're going to need them to be healthy, and it starts now Sunday in Los Angeles.
You know who's excited, Maz? You know who's definitely excited?
Me.
I know you're excited. You and a lot of other Lions fans, Ryan Ermanni included, but it's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's excited because coming into the season, coming to training camp at least, he knew he had David Montgomery. He was going to mix him in there with Jahmyr Gibbs. He has Sam Laporta now, who's going to be a nice young tight end that's going to end up being his security blanket. Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Eventually, in week 7, you would get Jameson Williams. Got him a lot earlier than you thought he would. And then you have a couple other players, and you would implement this offense that would pick up where last year left off, Ryan, but even be better. Because you had speed now. You had speed on this team that we didn't have last year. You got some players on this team that can add a little value as it relates to Sam Laporta and those guys. And it hasn't happened. Whether it was Jahmyr Gibbs not being ready and then getting hurt, whether it was David Montgomery getting hurt, whether it was Jameson Williams being suspended at the beginning and now trying to figure itself out, whether it's Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's missed the game for the Detroit Lions. Now Ben Johnson can implement the system that he wanted to implement when the season started. When he was going to training camp, I know he was excited to get his new toys. Ryan talks about having toys on Christmas. Well, Jahmyr Gibbs is a toy on Christmas this season. Well, Jameson Williams is a toy on Christmas, so we believe, at week 5. So now Ben Johnson gets to show us what we were excited about in the offseason, what this could look like for the Detroit Lions, now we get a chance to see it against the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi. It's always better when you see your team kick some butt on the road.
And Ben Johnson gets to see where he's going to wind up next year, right?
I
hope not. I hope not.
I mean, you know, when you're operating at a high level like that, man, it's part of the job.
Just win the damn season. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
You know, and one of the things, too, about this Lions offense, and we mentioned all of these weapons, we haven't even mentioned a guy that I don't know, or I can absolutely tell you that they would not be 6-2 without Josh Reynolds. I can absolutely tell you that. And I didn't even mention his name when I mentioned all of the weapons. What Khalif Raymond has been able to do for this team in
Good
spots.
call.
I didn't even mention that.
Craig Reynolds.
Craig Reynolds, well, sure, but to a lesser extent. But I
Tell
think,
that to the Tampa Bay Bucks.
no, I understand that, but I'm talking about guys. Well, yeah, man, I don't want to crap on Craig Reynolds, but
Come on, Craig.
yeah, I don't want to crap on Craig Reynolds.
that
man.
Friday?
I'm just talking about guys that are really,
Right.
top of the line. Now you got me crapping on Craig Reynolds.
No, listen,
Mazaway, thanks.
I didn't mean that.
You threw me off. Screw
Sorry,
you.
bro.
You're not crapping.
Screw you.
Sorry, man.
You're not-
God, I hate it when you do that.
I'm sorry.
You're not crapping on anybody, but at the same time, there are people that have
Come on,
made more of a
Craig.
contribution to the season thus far, and that is Justin Reynolds, Josh Reynolds, and not Craig Reynolds to a certain extent. There's nothing wrong with that. If you look at what Josh Reynolds has done in terms of all his catches for the most part being first downs, in terms of the 5 touchdowns he has, in terms of when those touchdowns and when those catches came in those first downs, Josh Reynolds has definitely been one of those unsung heroes. I mean, him, Khalif Raymond and Glasgow and Cam Sutton. I mean, they would be probably the top 4 unsung players for me right now.
What I was going to say was all of these skilled players that the Lions have, not one of them feels like a, hey, give me the ball guy. All of them feel like they're within the team game. And I guess I hate to keep referring back to that culture and that locker room, but they do feel like, hey, as long as we're winning, I don't care how many targets I get. As long as we're winning, I don't care how many carries I get. They will all do whatever they have to do to get the win on that particular day. And maybe it's a Gibbs game. Maybe it's a Montgomery game. We've seen both of them. Maybe it's an Amon-Ra game. Maybe it's a Reynolds game. Maybe it's a Laporta game. And it doesn't matter whose game it is. You exploit the matchup. You exploit the opportunity to move the ball forward and score points, and whoever does it, great, just as long as they win. It feels like this team has no ego.
I feel like it's part of how they draft. I think that's why they draft a certain way. I think that's why they look for a certain player. When you look at a guy like Sam Laporta, I'm getting him out of Iowa. Iowa's a team school. Like, he's a tight end coming out of Iowa. He's not a guy coming in with the ego. You look at Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs is a running back / wide receiver coming out of Alabama system where, hey, you got John Mechie. You got Jamison Williams. Hey, you got insert player draft in the first round out of Alabama. And you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. Technically, Drake London was the number 1 receiver on that team. It wasn't Amon-Ra St. Brown. So they're drafting players that can really play the game, but at the same time, these players know how to fit into a team and fit into a system. They understand what is the bigger value. It's not personal success. It is team success.
Hey, Jake M. on the chat brought up something pretty fun. Will Matthew Stafford be at the game this weekend? Rams are off. SoFi's his home. I bet you we're going to see a Matt Stafford and Kelly Stafford.
Will he be
signing.
back as a Lion next year?
No way in hell.
You don't think?
Zero possibility.
Okay. You want to put a bet on that?
No, I don't bet anymore, Matt.
Well,
but I will tell you that the last place you want to be if you're an NFL player and you're not playing,
oh yeah, you're right,
is in an NFL game.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm sorry.
Too many questions.
He's probably away with his kids.
If he was with the Rams, if they were playing the Rams, maybe he'd be there.
Yeah, I understand.
Here's a funny question. I saw this online.
Sorry, Jake.
He's probably out the rest of the year. They'll probably try to find a way to cut him, so he won't be back with the Rams next year. They'll cut the salary, cut the cost. They'll draft the wide receiver, or they'll draft the quarterback in this year's draft. Could you see Matt Stafford come back as a backup quarterback for like 2 years?
And not only that, but like other than
Jared Goff won't be here next year. Oh, excuse me, cat's out the bag. But could Matt Stafford be a backup
Hendon
quarterback
Hooker
next year?
and Matt Stafford?
I'm just saying.
Oh!
I'm just saying.
Than Taylor Decker, I mean, did Stafford even play with any of these guys?
No.
You know, I mean, who's he coming back to see?
The Lions, baby.
No.
He's trying to retire a Lion, man.
Maz is like.
I was just talking. Jake put it out there. I thought it was nice.
Oh, Jake from State Farm.
Oh, shut
Good
up,
job, Maz.
You just tried to get back at me for you disparaging Josh Reynolds.
Way to screw the show.
Okay, fine.
Way to screw the show.
Disparaging players.
Guys, let me get you a message from Feldman.
That's right. Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, that is Feldman. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership near you. Just got to go to feldmanauto.com. Since 1996, they have made a way. The automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. Take advantage, please.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Hey gang, let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company, the official outdoor equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, SnowX plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Company has it all. You could buy it, you could rent it, 0% financing, delivered to your doorstep. OutdoorEquipCo.com, OutdoorEquipCo.com. Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Now over 55,000 subscribers. It's a great number, and we are continuing to grow as a network. Hit the like button as well. Helps YouTube push our content out to more people. Guys, time now. We are joined by him every week at this time. Dan Miller. You can watch us every day on Fox2Detroit.com and the Fox Local app. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, Dan.
What's up, fellas? How you doing?
Good to see you.
Doing great. How was your Sunday off? Did you get a chance to lay on the couch and watch football and maybe get some DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever you get delivered to the
couple Modelos?
I didn't do anything Thursday. I didn't do anything Friday. I didn't do anything Saturday. I didn't do anything Sunday. It was glorious. I watched football. I sat on the couch. I ate, and it was wonderful. We've had 3 Sundays off this year because of the 2 Thursday games.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's not been like most years we haven't had any, but it was great. And it comes at just a perfect time, right in the middle of the season. You kind of gear up to go. So, man, I loved it. Little red zone on one TV, another game on another TV. I was set.
Dan, we were just talking about that too, because you talk about being rested and rejuvenated. If you look at this Lions team, the offensive line is all back, and this will be the first game. I think this is huge. This will be the first game that Montgomery, Gibbs, Jamo, Amon-Ra, and Laporta have all played together. And this is the 2nd-ranked offense in the league. Only behind Miami. I mean, this is a really good time now for these guys, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, what you're talking about is the vision. This is what they kind of saw themselves being when they drafted these guys and brought these guys in and kind of saw this offense during the offseason. And, you know, this offense is, and Jared Goff has said this and Dan Campbell said this, they've left a lot out there. I mean, there's been opportunities to do more than what they've done. And I think, you know, their red zone ranking is not good. I think there's a lot they can improve on. So while they've won and while they've scored some points, I think they'd be the first to tell you that as they get all these guys back together, they want to now start to ascend and get better as they head into the second half of the season, because there's been opportunities to do more than they have. But I think your point is a good one. Now we can see how these guys all work together, and we got to see this thing start to come together.
D-Mill, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to jump and dive right into it as it relates to the Chargers. I think they're one of those teams that it's a fake team when you – that sounds terrible. Let me start over. It's one of those teams where you look at the name. I had to start over, Dan. I'm sorry. I don't want to discredit. I don't like Brandon Staley, and maybe it's coming out of me that way, no pause. But when you look at that team, you hear the names. You hear Joey Bosa. You hear Khalil Mack. You hear Derwin James. You hear Keenan Allen. You hear the names, and it looks different. But just watching them play, they're not a team. And when I watched what they did against the New York Jets, they destroyed that offensive line that has been horrible all season. When I look at the Detroit Lions, I expect the team to go out there, win handily. They don't have to win by a lot, but I expect the Lions to go out there and be the better team. If it's 4 points but it's strong, it's 4 points and it's strong.
You know, Braylon, I can't wrap my arms around this team. I don't know what they are because I've seen them at times where they look good. Listen, Herbert can look great, and then there's some times where there'll be a throw, less this year, but there'll be a throw where you're like, not sure what he's doing. But look, man, he's a huge guy with a huge arm that can hurt you there. He can hurt you with his legs. Eckler is an outstanding player that can hurt you in a variety of ways. Keenan Allen's on track to have the best year of his career at the age of 31. Quentin Johnston, we saw what he did in college. He's a nice player there. They've got explosive guys. Palmer, they've got explosive guys that I think I look at that offense and I'm like, you know what? If they get hot, that's one you got to worry about. And defensively, look, you saw what they did to the Jets, and the Jets are struggling right now offensively, obviously. But to your point, there is something about this Charger team that you don't look at them and think, wow. But I don't look at them and think, you know, that they're in trouble either. I think they're still trying to figure things out.
Okay.
And I think they're a team that's capable of having a big day. I just think for all the guys that we just mentioned, that's a lot of NFL talent. And I just think, to me, they just haven't found that consistency yet. But I think it's a possibility they can.
Yeah, thank you for cleaning up what I said. I appreciate what you said much better. Are you excited? I appreciate what you said a lot better than what I did. Are you as excited as I am as it relates to Ben Johnson having every tool in the shed now? I think we've been waiting for this. I think he's been waiting for this. Are you as excited as I am?
I am, and I want to see how he uses it. I want to see how he uses those two backs. So are we now going to see more of the Jameer that we heard about, you know? Look, not that he's bad in the backfield, he's terrific, but that means taking Montgomery out, which they will do at times. But when those two play together and we see Jameer in the slot or Jameer even out wide, are we going to start to see that now where his receiving skills can be utilized? I still remember that crossing pattern he had earlier in the year that he dropped. I'd like to see him get a couple more shots at that because with his speed, crossing, getting the ball in stride, he could be devastating. Start to throw Laporta in there with what he's doing. This offensive line coming back together with Amon-Ra, with J-Mo, with Reynolds, who's played really well this year and bailed them out at times. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what it can be. But I'm not even sure how good it can be. I think it can be really good, but we haven't seen it together yet. I want to see how he does it, and I'm particularly intrigued to see how he utilizes the two speed guys, J-Mo, to try to get him going, and then Gibbs. Once Montgomery's back there, you don't want him off the field a lot, so how are they going to use him? And then, look, we know what Amon-Ra is. He's a star, and Laporta has just been terrific. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited to see how they do this and how they utilize it. Because if there's one thing that I think we can all agree that Goff has done, man, he just takes what you give him. And he's comfortable throwing it to anybody on that offense. So you're going to have to pick your poison. And I think at full strength, this offense can be a problem for some people if they get it together.
Talking to Dan Miller, Fox 2 sports director, and, of course, voice of the Lions. Dan, look, there's no perfect roster in the NFL, but doesn't it feel like with the second half of the season and everybody getting healthy that the Lions have everything they need? In they will go as far as they will go based on what they do and not what somebody else has to do, or you're hoping this guy's out for the other team or that guy might maybe Dak Prescott will be out. It doesn't matter who they're playing. It doesn't matter. They have everything they need. Doesn't it feel like it's all up to them at this point?
I think you're more comfortable than we have been for years saying that they can go into any game and win. And they can, when you go into Kansas City and you go into Lambeau at the end of last year when they have everything on the line, when you put those games together, and Lambeau to a lesser degree this year because they obviously aren't the same team, but when you do that, it gives you confidence that they can play with anybody. And look, I still want to see somebody else on that defensive line when they just send 4. Not when they're sending Anzalone or sending, Tracy Walker who had a sack last week. But when you're just sending 4, who else is going to win on critical passing downs outside of Aiden? Is Aleem going to continue to play the way that he did last week and the way that he has at times this year? Because if he brings that kind of consistency from the interior, this is a different team. That's a different defense. But that's my biggest question, is when you get into a critical time late in the game and somebody else needs to score, are you going to be able to pressure with 4 dropping 7? Because effectively it seems like teams can take Aiden out at times. Because if you put 2 guys on him and you're chipping him with a third at time, life is really difficult for him. Somebody else has to win. That's my question, Ryan, about where they are right now roster-wise and where they are right now in terms of being able to compete.
Yeah, Dan, you took the words out of my mouth. You had Aiden Hutchinson on your lips there, and I was going to ask you about him. Do you feel that because of what's happened in the last few games to him, do you think his confidence is down a little? Do you think he needs a big game here to get going again? Or do you think it's just he's getting double and triple teamed and it's time for somebody else to do something to help out?
I think he's getting, Maz, I think he's getting a lot of attention. I really do. And I think, he's relentless out there. He's got that motor that, the Max Crosbys have and the Bosa's have. He's got that motor where he just keeps coming at you. I don't think he lacks confidence. I think he knows perfectly what he's capable of doing. I think I don't think confidence will ever be a problem with him. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's just who he is, and it's part of what makes him who he is. But look, other teams know that if you can handle the other guys with one player, you can swing more of your protection towards him, and I think that's what's happened. So as guys around him get better, and I keep bringing him up, and I still think he's a wild card as Pascal, I'm hopeful that he can be a guy that can over these last 9 games, A, be healthy, and B, be impactful. As somebody else steps forward and as somebody else, like Houston did last year, makes plays, that's going to make life easier on Aiden because it makes it more difficult for the other team just to concentrate on him.
How about on the offensive side? The guys already told you they got their full complement, but now you add Donovan Peoples-Jones to the team as well. What do you expect out of him, number 19? Maybe not as much this week, but what do you think they go with? Is he like a Josh Reynolds type guy, or describe what he is to me?
He's got size. I think that's where you start. And in the red zone, he's obviously got the ability to body somebody up and make a contested catch and give a bigger target down there to Jared Goff. And look, they've had some trouble in the red zone. And what he is also insurance that if Jameson's not catching the ball or Jameson doesn't find stride soon, they can start working him in a little bit. And he gives you some backup if you need a return guy. He gives you some backup if any of your receivers get hurt. Look, Antoine Green is a rookie. He's not ready to necessarily step in at this point. And then you're talking about going and getting a Dylan Drummond or somebody like that if you have another injury. So, look, getting a guy who has played at a high level in this league and taken a lot of snaps in this league, there's no downside to that. And I don't know how much he's going to play if everybody's healthy. That's a Ben Johnson thing, which I, like you guys, will be interested to see. But look, he's got some talent. He brings some intangibles, and I think it was a really nice add at a position where you kind of looked at it and said, okay, if they get a couple of guys beat up like they have had at times, that could be a problem.
Hey, Dan, this is kind of a off-the-wall one, but kind of goofy. We love announcers. This will be the 9th game the Lions play, and this will be the 6th time in 9 games that a network has had their top broadcasting pairing do a Lions game.
Tony?
You had NBC with Tirico, 2 Fox games, an Amazon game, an ESPN game, and now Nance and Tony with CBS. What is it about this Detroit Lions story that the country cannot get enough of?
Well, I think it's a couple things. One, I think the country, I don't want to say fell in love, that's too strong, but the country became really intrigued by them on Hard Knocks. I think a lot of people saw that. A lot of people saw Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, Deuce at the time that he was here, and a group of players that's likable. So I think that was part of it because, look, the Lions were basically forgotten for a long time. I think that kind of put them back on the map. And then winning 8 out of 10 at the end of last year, being on national television, the only game on, the final game of the regular season with huge ramifications against the Packers, left everybody thinking at the end of last year there's something going on in Detroit. And then I think you saw the byproduct of that was getting opening night against the Chiefs. 4 weeks later, 3 weeks later, getting Thursday night against Green Bay, getting Monday night against the Raiders. Those things don't happen if you don't win 8 out of 10 at the end of last year. There's a reason that was the first Monday night game at Ford Field in 5 years. And the only reason they got one in 2018 was because people were intrigued by Matt Patricia. I mean, that was his first game. So, Ryan, they've earned it. They've earned it with the way they've played. They also play an exciting brand of football. They've got playmakers. They've put on a good show. And I think that's what people have kind of been drawn to. And Campbell is a guy that people like. I think people, they made fun of him early, but I think very quickly people have realized there's a whole lot more to him than the 15 seconds out of a 90-minute press conference when he got introduced. And I think all those things have added up to people being intrigued by who they are, what they're doing, and believing that if you put them on, you're going to get a good show. And that's why they're getting these primetime games or A teams as they're getting this week on CBS.
D, I have a great question. I lied to you. This is my last question, I promise you. I just saw this. It was about another team, so I stole it for the Detroit Lions. You yourself, Dan Miller, would you want the Lions to have the number 1 seed and get a bye? Or would you want the Lions to get the number 2 seed, play 2 home games at home, and essentially, well, I'll just leave it there.
I'll take a bye.
Yeah,
I
knew that. I knew it.
Hey, and that means I don't get paid. So that's me giving up myself.
Wow.
But no, I would take a bye. I mean, look, if you get the bye,
right,
that means your next game is at Ford Field, and if you win, your next game is at Ford Field. So that means you've locked up home field throughout if you get that bye, because only one team gets the bye. So, look, I would take that, and short of that, Braylon, I do think that's a good discussion because getting that number 2 seed could also be critical because that means you might miss Dallas or you might miss Seattle and you might get the back end of the NFC, whether it's Minnesota, Washington, or whoever it is. I think you'd rather play them than end up playing a team like, as I said, Seattle or Dallas. Dallas could come up just short against Philadelphia. Seattle could come up just short against San Francisco. So the difference between the 2 and the 3 seed, if you don't get the 1, could be significant as well. So I think those are all things to watch. But what it really says is keep winning, man, because, and this is obvious, the higher seed you get, the better road that you get through the playoffs.
I just don't want to go to Philly. That's the only place I don't want to play at.
Yeah, I mean, and you may end up doing that if you last long enough and get to the NFC Championship or whatever. I mean, look, they got 9 games left. We've all seen some things that we thought were going to go well and haven't. So what they need to do is go beat the Chargers.
Yeah,
and
of course.
maybe have the Saints beat the Vikings, which would be cool. But you know what? They have to handle their business because all the things we're talking about, it's incumbent upon them to put themselves in that position. And look, Minnesota's not making it easy on these guys. They've got work to do to go ahead and win this division and that's probably a good thing because there's no laying back for these guys. They know that team's right on their tail. They know that team has 2 games left against them. So you know what? Go out there, handle your business, and things will go the way you want them to go because if they continue to handle them. Look, Philly's got a tough schedule coming up. I don't really play the schedule game, but we know they do. And if the Lions do what they're capable of doing, then they're going to be in a good position at the end of the year. But you got to go out there and do it.
All right, make us jealous. Where you going in L.A.? What's the dinner like? Fill us in on a L.A. road trip with the Miller clan.
Hey, man, it's just
TJ
personal business.
TJ and I were flipping through some restaurants last night trying to figure out what we wanted to do. Are we, are we going, seafood on the water? Or are we thinking, just standard beef somewhere else? So up in the air at this point, but we're gonna find something to do on Saturday night. But I'll be honest with you guys, as the old guy, I like going out, having dinner, maybe a drink or two, then I'll be in my bed watching college football and getting ready for the next day. So
amen to that.
I
Big
can promise
one.
you whatever it is, it won't be a late night, but we'll have some fun.
And it'll be a big one on Fox this Saturday, Michigan and Penn State. Maybe you'll watch a little bit of that on the ride out there.
We definitely will. I hope we have live TV on the plane. That's the problem that you never know there is because a lot of times these bigger planes give you all the entertainment in the world, but you don't have live TV. So I'm hoping we do because obviously I want to watch that.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Good stuff, Dan Miller. Enjoy the call.
Lonnie would just say, I'm not going. He'd get on the plane.
This is true. This is true.
I'm good. I'll walk.
I'll take the night flight.
Weddings, trips, work. It's all canceled for the Michigan games.
I'll take the 4 o'clock.
Go blue, Dan.
4 o'clock flight out of DTW. All right, Dan, we'll see you. And again, you can check us out, fox2detroit.com and the Fox local app each and every day. Woodward Sports on Fox 2. That's great, Tom. Let's continue that conversation next about the number 1 seed. I cannot understand like anything other than a number 1. Like I'd be happy with it. Don't give it away. I know, but I want you to convince me that something other than the number 1 seed is a good idea. I need somebody to make that argument to me.
I'll make it happen.
But first, a message from Swiss.
Yes. Do you have football on the brain like us? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has already been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with the pros at Swiss Insurance. They cover us here at WSN, and they should be covering you as well. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com, or as always, give them a call at 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper.
Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equipment Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
That's right. Getting cold outside. Time to go inside. 5 Iron Golf downtown at the Cambria Hotel. Sim rentals, lessons, leagues, bar, restaurants, food. They have it all. Just come on down, enjoy yourself, practice, play, and party. They also got coaches, so you can get your golf game together. So you actually are better when you fall into the spring next season. On Thursdays, it is the Woodward Sports Golf League, 5 to 7. Come on down, hang out with us. You never know who you might run into. And then after that, you can watch Thursday Night Football. Come on down, 5 Iron Golf, located Cambria Hotel.
Woodward Sports Network. We are rolling on a Wednesday, and I just want to say to everybody who watches on YouTube and the 10-minute clip we post each and every day, thank you as well. We are having some of our biggest numbers over the last week or two on that platform, and we have you to thank. I just wanted to make mention of that. It is so great to have your support, and we believe we are providing some really good content for you. So just wanted to say thank you. Braylon, we were talking about this aspect of it. You had mentioned, and I'll let you ask the question because I can't think of a good reason why you wouldn't want the number 1 seed.
The reason why I asked the question is, you as a fan, would you want the Lions to have the number 1 seed, or would you want to have the number 2 seed? The reason why I asked the question is the number 1 seed, you get a bye week, Don't have to play in the first round of the playoffs, and then you will play in the second round, and you will play the winner of what would you play in the second? You play the winner of 7. You play the lowest seed left. Yeah, essentially you play the lowest.
You play the second lowest seed.
Lowest seed left if you're the 1 seed.
Oh, if you're the 1 seed, you play the lowest seed.
Take a look right there at the
I'm looking at it. If you're the number 1 seed, you'll play the second. You just play the lowest seed, and you get the first round bye. If you're the 2 seed, then you play the 7 seed, but you got to play in the first round. The reason why I asked that question, Ryan and Ermanni, it's a such thing as momentum. It's a such thing as rhythm. It's a such thing as staying on pace. It's a such thing as keeping it going. If you get the number 1 seed, and I've seen this happen a lot of times, you get the number 1 seed or you get a bye. Back in the day, it was 2 teams that got a bye. Now it's 1. If you get a bye, sometimes that momentum you have, it stops. Sometimes that momentum you have going into the playoffs, it stops. And then a team that's rolling into the playoffs, rolling into the win in the first week, and now they got to play you. Both times I was at when I was with the Jets, Ryan, 09, 2010. In 09, we barely make the playoffs. First round, we played the Cincinnati Bengals. We beat the Bengals last game of the season. We beat the Bengals the first game of the playoffs. And then we went out to San Diego. San Diego was red hot to finish the season. Second best record behind the Indianapolis Colts. Well, they weren't ready. They looked sluggish. We beat them. Surprise, we passed them, and now we go play the Colts. Second year that happened, Tom Brady, they got a bye week. They didn't play. We stayed rolling with the ship. We beat the Colts in the first round, and then we came in, we beat Tom Brady in the second round and slant for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. That lack of not playing that week, that sitting around, sitting at the house, getting out of rhythm, I guarantee you, I promise you, both times we won those games, when we beat those teams that had those bye weeks, they were just sitting around, they didn't take it serious, or they were sitting around and they got out of rhythm. The other thing to that, and just asking, is you get a guaranteed game. You make sure that you have a game if you're the 2 seed. You get a game at home. You get a chance to play that game. It's probably going to be a tune-up. I mean, it's a playoff team, but it's probably going to be a tune-up game. Then you get another game after that. What if the Lions get the number 1 seed and then lose after the bye? So now here you are. Great season. Excellent season. You got the number 1 seed, still lost, and still we haven't had a playoff win since 1991. So for me, it's just asking, do you want to stay in rhythm, or do you trust that as a new playoff team, you could be okay having a bye week and then picking it up 2 weeks later and getting back to where you left off? That's kind of where the question.
That's good. Good question.
Because both times I was in the playoffs with the Jets, we beat a team that had a bye week. It was the Chargers with Phillip Rivers, and then it was the GOAT and Tom Brady. We sent his ass home.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question. And it's no wrong answers. Like 1 or 2 seed is great. That means you're in the playoffs and you did something right. It's just a question.
And Bray, you can even translate that into other sports. I mean, we even talked a lot about the Tigers this summer, about how they had that gap of time when they played the Cardinals. This isn't just a situation that happens in just football where you do have a bye week. This happens every time in every sport where you have a certain amount of gap. Yeah. And I get your point where if we do take this gap, we might need to be on we can't sit around. But if we have this 2 seed, we can stay in rhythm, we can continue going forward, and we can beat a team like the Minnesota Vikings, which will probably beat twice this year.
Or Washington Commanders, or any of those teams that are going to sneak into that 7th spot, man.
Listen, man, the only place, like I said, I don't want to wind up in Philly.
Right.
I don't eat Goff flutter balls in Philly. I'll play anywhere else. I'll go to San Francisco and play at the Niners before I'd want to go to Philadelphia and play in that weather, because you're not going to beat them. You're not going to beat them in Philly with Goff as your quarterback. You're just not. He's not that kind of quarterback. So if you're looking for the Lions to get through this thing, right now, if all the seeds hold, the Lions would play the Niners and the Saints would play the Eagles. That's the way it looks like right now as it sits, if you all win your games.
Okay.
So I want that number 1 seed.
You want the 1 seed?
Well, you know what? This week will tell me a lot, because they're coming off a bye. They're playing a team that just played on Monday night and really getting after the quarterback. I know it was against the Jets, but they're getting at the quarterback. If you could beat the Chargers this week, I'll have a lot more confidence in what they can do.
And
that's very well said.
There's no rhyme or reason either. So last year, both number 1 seeds won in the divisional round. In the previous year, in 2021, both number 1 seeds lost.
Correct.
In the divisional round. I just think, and yes, I'd rather play the Vikings and maybe get a win. But when you play a team 3 times in 4 weeks, That spells doom
Yes,
to me.
it's not good.
That's not good at all. Also, anytime you play an extra game, there is chance for injury. And I don't need any injuries. So I would absolutely take the bye. I'll take my chances. And again, whether you have the 2 seed or not, anytime you are playing an extra game, something can happen. There is no guarantee that you come out of that game.
Hey, Wilson just put something up here.
Put that in the chat, Parker.
Who's Wilson?
Wilson in the chat.
Put that in the chat.
He said, I just looked it up. Number 1 seeds win the Super Bowl 52% of the time. Number 2 seeds win it 20% of the time. That's from Wilson and his looking up things. So, Wilson, if you're right, I want the number 1 seed.
Yeah, there you go. And that's why I said there are no wrong answers, but 52 to 20, it would suggest that there are wrong answers.
And again, it just feels like everything about this Lions season has, they've been in the driver. They've been responsible for everything.
Yeah.
If you've got a 2 seed, somebody else is responsible whether or not you're playing a home game at Ford Field.
Right.
Now, if they lose in the divisional round, maybe the other team just comes in and beats them. But at least they'll be there. I mean, when they did win their playoff game against Dallas, it was the divisional round. They had the bye. They had a bye in the divisional round. Now, that was back when the teams had two teams had a bye.
Correct.
But it was the divisional round, and then they got smoked in Washington.
To play the Vikings all that time, you're playing them twice at the end of the year.
Right.
And then to get them in the playoffs, I don't want to see them 3 times. We'll see what the Vikings do. Right now, I wouldn't want to play the Vikings right now because they're playing pretty good football. Maybe at the end of the year, there's a better chance to beat them.
Hold on. Listen, I understand that Josh Dobbs had an amazing game. And I understand he did something amazing. He basically went out there and was operating through the headsets to get this team, and he was just making reactive plays, and, this is just playing backyard football. I am in no way afraid of the freaking Minnesota Vikings right now. He doesn't even know his teammates, nor does he know the offense. So stop it with the Josh Dobbs win last week. It was a good win for him. It's something amazing he did, but I'm not afraid of the Vikings and Josh Dobbs, who doesn't even know his players' names.
Guys, we'll go around the NFL. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Let me tell you about Les Stanford Buick GMC. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They offer the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, check out Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. All GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
We are going to go around the NFL momentarily, but first we are going to bring in the man, the myth, the legend, intern Alex for Wolverine Wednesday, brought to you by our friends at Skinny Butcher.
I know that
Alex,
guy.
how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How are you? We got a big weekend ahead. Number 3 versus number 10, big game. Finally ready to get some good games.
Oh, we lost you. Now we got you back. As you were saying, intern Alex, the buzz on campus has to be different this week compared to any other week on campus, does it not? With finally, it feels like Michigan's football season has started.
Oh, 100%. This whole season, we've had 2 games circled on the calendar that really matter for Michigan's season. That's Penn State and Ohio State. And it's great that one of these games are finally here after the long wait, especially with all the off-field drama. It's great just to have a big game we can all focus on as Michigan fans.
Long time no see, my brother. Good to see you again.
Long time no see, yeah.
It was fun meeting your buddies up there and also your buddy's father. That was cool times. Appreciate you stopping by Prime Eatery and checking your boy out. I'll do you a favor, and I'll do us a favor, too, and our listening audience. We're not talking about anything as it relates to the signs, the stealing, the NCAA, the Big Ten, Petiti. Let's just talk football. Going into the game against Penn State right now, this is our first challenge. We watched Penn State, didn't feel too good about them after that Indiana game. What are you looking for out of Michigan and out of Penn State? Because I don't believe this to be a particularly good Penn State team. I think they're young. They'll be good next year. What do you see as it relates to Penn State, their defense, and Michigan?
Well, like you said, defense. This is the clash of the Titans defensively in college football. This is number 1 versus 3, with Michigan being 1, Penn State being 3. Both teams are great on both passing and rushing defense, but what I really want to see out of Michigan is a great game from our offensive line, because Penn State has a great front 7, probably the best they'll play all regular season in college football. And so what I'm hoping is that Michigan really gets JJ going early on the outside runs, get some jet sweeps going, and don't let that front 7 come in and really commit to stopping Corum up the middle.
Hey, Alex, talk to me about JJ in the offense. It looked like, after a week off, they were a bit sluggish last week. Do you feel like that was expected and a little bit of a tune-up here for Penn State?
Yeah, I agree. He looked a little rusty. I mean, JJ has such high standards compared to other Michigan quarterbacks in the past. He still threw for almost 340 yards last week. But there were a few throws where before he's seeing these insanely tight windows, and this week he looked a few inches off here and there, which we need tighter this week. Need that top play, because Penn State will not give you that room for error. But yeah, I think that is to be expected coming off a bye week, especially with all the off-field drama, as much as it will affect people no matter what.
Break it down for the Michigan fans who are not familiar with Drew Aller's game. Break down Drew Aller, the quarterback, sophomore quarterback at Penn State. What is his weaknesses and what is his strengths?
Yeah, so Drew Aller, 5-star quarterback out of Ohio, Penn State, first year starting. He's a big pocket passing quarterback. That's not mean he isn't mobile. He's very good at evading pass rush. However, they were not going to design many quarterback runs for him. They bring in actually backup Tribula for that, which they do a lot on 4th down. But Aller is way worse when he's under pressure, and that was very apparent in the Ohio State game. So I'm really looking for Jesse Minter and the rest of the defensive staff to cue up a lot of blitzes early, get after Aller, make him uncomfortable, and try to rattle the cage a little bit.
You talked about the passing game and JJ and getting out in the run. That's what you want to see early on in the game, and I couldn't agree with you more. Was it a good sign for Michigan fans, and was it a good sign for Roman and JJ, their connection last week? It seemed like they were trying to go to each other. It seemed like they were trying to get in the same page, know that they had Penn State coming up, Ohio State, Big Ten Championship, and other plans leading into January. Was it a good sign to see those two kind of get going again?
Yeah, 100%. Like, as you know, for sure, quarterbacks love having a good safety blanket. And as we move forward and start facing better and better front 7s, like Purdue last week, Penn State this week, Ohio State down the road, whoever we play in the Big Ten Championship, knock on wood, and the CFP Championship, knock on wood as well, you want to have that safety blanket. And having that great connection between a wide receiver like Roman and JJ do just makes you more and more comfortable with the passing going forward, especially on situations like 3rd and long when you know a blitz is likely coming.
Are you surprised that it's not a wideout? I would think that plays to Penn State's strength, the wideout. They say it's the hardest atmosphere to play in. And once again, I disagree. I think it's Death Valley, but are you surprised it's not a wideout going against Michigan?
I'm slightly surprised, but we knew that. Fox scheduled this game for noon before the season. It was like July or August they announced the game. Right. So I'm not super surprised Penn State didn't want to waste their marquee big recruiting event on a noon game. Because it's just not. I've been to Penn State for both a night out and a noon game, and the night out's up here, and the noon game's down here in terms of atmosphere. It's still a great atmosphere. It's still gonna be real loud, hostile. Expect Michigan to jump a few times. However, it's not the same as a night game, so that's great for us.
Alex, are you guys planning a trip there? Does Michigan have a bus load ready to go down to Happy Valley?
I don't know about a busload, but I know me and a lot of friends are going to be there, boots on the ground, Happy Valley. Hopefully it's the same outcome as 2021 last time I went. And I'm super excited to experience one of the great atmospheres in college football.
Hey, man, who's funding these trips? You know, that's the big thing on campus right now. Who's funding you right now, man? That seems like a lot, man. 3 trips to Penn State?
Man, we got like student tickets. You just hop in a car and you go.
Okay, I don't know these things.
Oh yeah, if you can get student tickets and just hop in a car and go, man.
Okay, I should hop in the car and go.
Absolutely. Hey, Alex, talk to me about the college football playoff rankings that came out. I still have a hard time believing that anybody would sit in a room and put Ohio State at 1. I think everybody admits they're not the best team in the country. And even so, their wins now don't look that great. The win at Notre Dame doesn't look so special anymore. The Penn State win, fine, sure, but they looked like crap against Rutgers. They were trailing at halftime against Rutgers.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said there. It's really confusing right now to figure out if the College Football Committee actually prefers your resume or the eye test right now, because they do not follow the rules for every team. Because if it was purely eye test, Michigan would probably be a runaway number 1 right now instead of Ohio State. But then if it was resume as well, I think Washington's wins are more impressive right now. I think Oregon's the team I'm actually most scared of going forward this college football season. They've just been playing amazing ever since that loss at Washington, which is a close game on the road. And I think, yeah, Michigan will have a better resume, better eye test. As I just find it a little confusing going right now with what the committee actually values.
Hey, Alex, one of the things is totally off topic. One of the things I said earlier in this week, I just want your reaction to it. I think J.J. McCarthy is coming back next year.
Oh, yeah, he did say that.
Would you be shocked if he did?
I genuinely would be shocked if he came back next year. The way he's playing, I think he can be a first-round quarterback this year. I think a lot of NFL teams are going to be looking for a quarterback in the first round. And I think it's most likely in his best interest if he goes to the NFL next year. And that would probably help Michigan as well. If we get a quarterback in the first round for the first time, and I don't know if we've ever actually put a quarterback in the first round, to be honest with you, that'd be great on the recruiting front for us. So I'd be okay if JJ, after he leads us to a national championship, goes to the first round in the NFL.
Hey, Alex, last one for me. The chat wants to know what that newspaper clipping is over your right shoulder.
Oh, over my right shoulder? I'm not sure if it'll come off super easily, but it's the Again Michigan Daily last year, 45-23. So that's the one decoration on the walls of my room right now.
They want you to get a frame for it, by the way.
Oh yeah, will do. I'll get that in the works.
Hey, by the way, the last Michigan quarterback to go in the first round was 1987. Jim Harbaugh.
Wow.
Yeah, to the Chicago Bears at pick number 26.
I think JJ is actually on par to break his
record this week.
Yeah, pass him this week. Yeah, on this
is that the team he's going to coach next?
In fact, Jim Harbaugh is the only quarterback at Michigan ever to be drafted in the first round.
Is Ty Collins like second round? I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good guy in the 6th round, too.
Yeah, Tom Brady. He turned out okay. Intern Alex, thank you so much. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully about a Michigan win. And
have fun.
Absolutely. Have fun. Go Blue. And this interview brought to you by our friends, Wolverine Wednesdays, by our friends at Skinny Butcher. We are going to take a break, come right back, go around the NFL next. But first, a message from Big Boy.
Big Boy. Yeah. Wintertime in Detroit's always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Started off with the veal parmesan. The veal parmesan. You got to get a little
Parmigiano.
of that. And the Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. How about that? But you want to start your day with a breakfast, of course. And the stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack, the Santa Fe Garden. Also, the new apple pie pancakes, hotcakes, are good as well. Top it off with a gingerbread shake for dessert. And they got them all. They got the vanilla, the strawberry, the chocolate, the Oreo, all the shakes. And everything is great at your local Big Boy.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
All right, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon and Edwards, Tom Mazaway. Let's send it over to you, Maz.
You have any trouble watching TV with your wife?
Yes.
Would you rather, honestly, I'm not taking nothing away from our wives.
Sure.
But I cannot watch television with my wife.
It's hard to do.
We almost had a fight last night, a brawl.
Hard to do.
Because I'm like, hey, do you want to watch this another night? And then she goes into the whole thing. Well, I got to get this done, and I got to make sure Maddie's in bed, and you got to do this, and she keeps going and keeps going. I just wanted to watch the Sly documentary.
You can't do it.
And just watch it for the 90 minutes that it was. 90 minutes isn't a lot.
96
Maybe
minutes.
you pause it for 2 minutes once.
Right.
Maybe. It took me 2 freaking hours.
That's ridiculous.
Over 2 hours. Almost 2.5 hours.
That's ridiculous,
to get
man.
through it, and then I was like, I didn't even like it. And I love Sly.
That's ridiculous.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it again when it's just you.
I know.
You gotta watch it again.
Because if I answered the question, I'd rather watch it on my own. She wouldn't be talking to me for like a week.
You can't do that.
And you're in the shit house.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's right.
Honest to God, man. There's nothing worse. I can't get through a Ted Lasso 26 minutes
that show's so
without
great.
pausing it 4 times.
Wait, Maz, what's this guy doing?
Oh my God, that is so funny, dude.
And not only that, then she's on her phone. This is a girl that never goes on her phone. But she decides to go on her phone at night when she's sitting relaxing and we're watching TV.
Right.
And I'll see her. And she's not even paying attention. Then she's like, oh, what happened there? I'm like, didn't you just see it? No, she didn't see it because she's on her effing phone. Oh my
Maz, what happened?
It sucks. That's all. I just had to get that off my chest.
Nights at the Mass.
$60 an hour I'll charge.
I'm sorry.
I
just had to get that off my chest.
You got 14
I wanted to enjoy Sly, and I didn't enjoy it.
Didn't enjoy it.
No.
It's all good, man. You get another crack at it. I'm pretty sure.
All right. Want to go around the NFL?
Yeah, give me one story.
Okay.
And then we'll go.
Okay.
Then I'll take a break, and then we'll go.
Take a break.
You know what? Let me take a break right now.
Oh, take a
come
break.
back. We'll finish the show with Around the NFL. Shall we? But
Smart
first,
guy.
let me tell you about Fairway Packing Company.
Crying out
for over
loud.
60 years. Tom Mazaway, you want to, go to Fairway Packing Company, the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. The Barada family for over 60 years, providing you and the restaurants, hotels, casinos with the best prime beef, Wagyu beef, dry-aged beef that you could ever have. Experience it for yourself. The Fairway difference today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. Grab and go steaks. Order online, fairwaypacking.com, fairwaypacking.com.
Cut, pack, ace, source to perfection.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Bullseye Event Group. You can join Woodward Sports and Long Drink every Lions home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market inside of Shed 5. Going to be a bash. We've got 2 games coming up over the next couple of weeks. Lions-Bears on Sunday. Lions-Packers on the Thursday of Thanksgiving Day. That's right. Get your tickets today. BullseyeEventGroup.com. BullseyeEventGroup.com. Food, beverages, entertainment, all included. How about that?
It's good. Good
job.
I gotta go check that out, man.
Absolutely.
I haven't been since week 1.
Oh, man, it's a great time. It's a great time. All right, Tom Mazaway, let us have it.
All right, fellas. Hey, ESPN puts out these stuff. We like to show them to you. They put out their top 10 NFL teams, but with the FPI. Now, what is the FPI?
What is the FPI?
Football Player Index?
I guess it's a Football Player Index. Take a look at the NFL FPI rankings. There's not a Lion on that list. Not a single Lion on that list. I just wanted to run that by you guys. And what do you think? The Jags over the Lions?
The Lions are a team.
The Chargers over the Lions? Really?
But notice how everybody has a player. Like every team has a player.
They're all quarterbacks.
Exactly, and that's kind of where
But this is teams.
But they all have a quarterback, which is where I'm kind of going. I bet in their estimation they believe that all these quarterbacks are better than Jared Goff. So that's the teams in which they've gone with. Meanwhile, we know that the Lions currently are better than at least 3 of the teams on there. I think 1, 2, 3 of the teams. I would
think so.
I would say definitely. But hey, at the end of the day, these lists are fun because
I put them over the Bills even.
But this was so fun. They got the Chargers ranked 8th after a game in which you saw Justin Herbert throw for 136 yards. The defense beat the Catalyst. Just wait till next week because that team that's sitting 8th, they got to play the Detroit Lions this Sunday coming up. So
that's right.
This will look a lot different after that. And then
I think Detroit City.
Then those 2 teams play each other. 4 and 10 play. So you got 4 and 10. I think the best 2 games this week are going to be the Chargers and the Lions and the 49ers and the Jaguars. Those will be your 2 best games.
Yeah. You might be right there.
It's a change.
I know it's not going to be tomorrow's game.
Oh, hell no.
Panthers and the Bears.
Oh, my
that's a freaking disaster. All right, here's one for you guys. We've been talking about Bill Belichick for a long time and how he's crawling to the finish line, basically. Without Tom Brady, he's an under 500 coach.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a rumor out there? The Boston Globe has put it out.
Got the Boston Globe. Man.
If he loses this week, if he comes home from Germany,
he's going to take a different flight home
without a win against the Colts, there's a chance he is relieved of his duties on the bye week, and they give the gig to Jared Mayo.
And did you see who they want to hire as part of that story?
No.
Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, he's not. Oh, well. He's a Titan.
I don't think Mike Vrabel would take that job.
That's a losing job after Belichick.
Well, they don't have any playmakers. They need a general manager.
But did you ever think you'd hear this?
No, that I don't believe. I don't believe that they'll relieve him on the like to relieve someone that got you 6 Super Bowls, regardless whether it was Brady or not, which we know it was to be true. You can't relieve somebody like that during a bye week. During the season. That's not the way you do it to Bill Belichick, and I don't think that Mike Vrabel would take over for Bill Belichick.
No, not this year, but you never know.
Hey, Jamar Chase, one of the best receivers in the game. He's kind of been not himself this year. He's had one big game. There's a rumor that is this back injury that he has, that he's been playing through, could cost him a few games.
This would be It's to be tough for the Bengals, but at the end of the day, the way Joe Burrow is playing right now, see, that's one of those situations when you still have a great skill set group. I mean, you still have Tyler Boyd. You still have T. Higgins, who a lot of people were trying to get as their number one receiver this season. So you'll still be fine because Joe Burrow is now operating like Joe Burrow. So if this would have been early in the season, they'd have been screwed. But now this could be a time for him to take a game or two off with the way Joe Burrow's playing.
Hey, what did you think of Martavis Bryant when he played back in the day?
Yeah, that's 5 years ago, so it doesn't even matter. 5 years ago, it was 5 years ago.
Well, he was suspended, and now he is back.
What did he get suspended for?
I forget, to be honest with you. I think it was a drug suspension.
It was marijuana and some other stuff. But
man, that's some BS.
Anyway,
it's legal,
he's allowed to play. Last week, he was reinstated by the NFL. He signed with the Cowboys. But the rumor on the street was the Lions were very interested in maybe bringing him in.
I just don't know what the interest is in a player that played 5 years ago and bring him in. And this is why I asked that question. Jerry Jones, this is a move. The Dallas Cowboys, with everything you guys got going on, your move to get your team right, to get your team over the hump as it relates to the Eagles, is to get a guy that played 5 years ago.
Right.
Like a guy that played 5 years ago. This is what we're doing in Dallas. Jerry's over, bro. It's over.
Jerry's got the same problem that Bill Belichick has, and that is they both want control of the personnel decisions for the team.
At least Jerry gets it to a certain extent.
He does. He gets
takes
better players.
Superstar players.
Right.
I will give Jerry that. He understands it takes superstar players, but I mean, you don't go after Derrick Henry, or you don't go after. We don't know how that played out, but in my estimation, you don't go after him or Saquon or whatever running back to enhance the team. But now here we are after the trade deadline. It's Martavis Bryant. But let me stop because I don't know what Martavis has left in the tank, and if it's something special, and then I will look like an idiot. So I wouldn't have done it, but we shall see.
Here's a guy that you talked about highly, Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Former Seahawk.
Oh, my God.
Did you know this guy has been taken over the railroad tracks here by his ex-wife? He has been involved in an identity theft for $1.8 million. His ex-wife's boyfriend, or lover as they call him, has perpetrated this $1.8 million identity theft, even cashing some of his NFL checks.
Unbelievable.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
I mean, identity theft, it's easy, and that's why I'm working with this privacy app that I'll tell you about later, Ryan, when it gets some more legs to it. But people do that, man. They take your footprint, and you're talking about his ex-wife. Do you know how much power of attorney she probably had on certain things that they didn't cancel out, or some of this as it seems like it's hard to do.
Well, identity theft, I understand.
Right.
How you get access to an actual check, an NFL game check, that I don't understand.
His wife. I mean, it's still his wife.
Maybe it goes to her address that used to be his.
And at the time, were they divorced? Were they really divorced?
Now you're in it.
Yeah, are you really divorced? The fact that someone can steal 1.9 from someone, that's just, I tell you what, that wouldn't be a Detroit cat because
we know what happened.
It wouldn't be a Detroit cat. We won't play that.
Cap.
We won't play that stuff.
No cap.
Hey, last week Montez Sweat was picked up by the Bears. Washington traded Montez Sweat over to the Bears. The Bears signed him 3 days later, even though he said, "Hey, I want to see what's going on at the end of the year." He's like, "Oh, okay, you're giving me $100 million? I'll sign it. 4 years, $98 million." Montez Sweat trades up, gets a much better uniform. He's now a Chicago Bear, and he'll play tomorrow.
He's a hell of a player. It's not up for debate how good he is. It's not up for debate that what he does. It's just for the Chicago Bears. This is another situation when you got another $100 million player on your roster. Meanwhile, your offense is still trying to figure it out. That has been the Bears' problem for the better part of how long, Maz? 40 years?
Yep.
It's always the offensive side. They always make defensive.
85 has been it.
They always make defensive moves.
Yep.
They never make offensive moves. So he's a damn good player, but I don't know, man. We'll see.
Well, my thing with that is that going into this offseason, they had the most cap space, and they just basically spent it all, most of it, on Montez Sweat. I don't know what the Bears are doing.
It started getting spent before Montez Sweat.
Hey, earlier today I showed you the playoff picture. Now I will leave you with the NFL draft. Top 10 right now if the season ended today. Check it out, fellas.
Arizona, Chicago, the Giants, and New England, the Rams. Oh, the Rams.
Carson Wentz, Rams.
How about this division, the Lion, this is why every year matters. Because this division is going to get good quickly. Chicago's got 2 picks there in the top 10. They will probably finish with 2 picks in the top 10. Green Bay will have a top 10 pick. And they probably could get a quarterback, too, in that.
Yeah.
So, man, the NFC North is going to be good soon.
I think the Giants and New England are the lock to be 1 or 2 because I think both those teams, I think they're really going to try. You look at everybody else up there. I can't see them just you got the new coach down at the Cardinals. He's starting Kyler Murray. Right. They're not going to have the number 1.
They're not trying to lose.
And every other team up there is going to be tanking. So I think Giants and Patriots are the guys you keep your eye out on for the 1 and 2 seed.
Hey, Pistons are playing at Milwaukee tonight. They've lost 5 in a row. Red Wings lost last night 5-3 at the Garden to the Rangers. They host Montreal tomorrow.
Back to our losing ways.
There you go.
Come on, Lions.
Come on, Lions, baby. DeBrincat, baby.
We need you.
All right.
What happened to the cat?
Bray, get us out of here.
He'll be back soon. Hey, look, man, you start the season off, you get hot, you lose a couple. It's a part of the season. It's ebbs and flows, like this show, but we're all ebbs over here because of you guys.
A lot of ebbs.
We appreciate you guys for tuning in. You make the show go. We do it because of you, so we appreciate you here at Woodward Sports Network. From my man JB, Maz on the couch, Parker, brother from another mother, Ryan Ermanni. You know what time it is. We are Edwards and Ermanni and Maz and Parker and JB. Not anymore, is it? We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys.